Hey everybody, welcome back to the Light Side Music Reactions. We've got a special episode today. Today is our 100th episode of the Light Side Music Reactions. And so to celebrate our 100th episode, I'm going to do something unusual. For the first time, I'm going to react to one of my own songs. This is a song that I released with my band Krusade, spelled with a K. And we released this on our second album, our sophomore album, self-titled Krusade, back in the year 2000. And the reason why our second album was self-titled is our first album, which we released in 1997, we released under the name The Crusaders, once again with a K. When we first started the band in 1991, the band was called KFC, the Crusaders for Christ. And we did traditional gospel hymns and country and southern gospel sounding music. And it was just me with the acoustic guitar, my friend Todd on the bass guitar, and Cammie Lone, our lead singer, singing lead. And it was just the three of us, a trio. And we started out, going from church to church, singing our music. And after a while, we shortened the name to just the Crusaders for the sake of, it just sounded better than just calling ourselves KFC. It was a nice little joke, reference to Kentucky Fried Chicken, but we were afraid of maybe trademark might come back against us or something like that, and so we just shortened it for the sake of brevity and also for recognition. We just shortened it to the Crusaders, once again spelled with a K. And then after a few years, Travis Wells is a friend of ours that we grew up with, and he had moved to Florida with his family. And while he was in Florida, he was singing with a Christian rap group down there called DDT. And so when he moved back to the area, after we had been singing as the Crusaders for a couple years, he introduced us to the new style of contemporary music that we weren't familiar with. Stuff like DC Talk. And my recent reaction to Toby Mac video, I talked a little bit about that, about how they've influenced us through the music that Travis introduced us to. Travis joined our group and became our lead singer, and then Cammie's brother, Scott, started playing drums with us. And as we started writing our own songs, our style started to evolve, and each one of us had a different musical background. So we had influences from country, rock, rap, southern gospel, contemporary Christian, you name it, and even some heavy metal and stuff like that influences on our music. And so it allowed us to really reach a diverse audience because of the diverse influences that had influences on our music. And so with Travis joining the band and our musical style evolving to a more contemporary and rock sort of flavor, we shortened the name once again to just plain Krusade. And also, the biggest reason for that is there was another group in the area calling themselves the Crusaders. Whenever we were getting bookings, people started confusing us for the other group. And so, to simplify things and so that people wouldn't mix us up with the other group, we just started calling ourselves Krusade. And so, after we released our first album, Jesus Is, under the name The Crusaders, the second one we released as Krusade and just self-titled it. Well, this song that I'm reacting to today is Solid Ground, and it is the second song that's on that album. And if you go to the link in the description, you can hear the song in its entirety without interruptions. And I encourage you, after you're done watching this reaction, you can go over there, and take a listen to it. Anyway, as I said, this is the second single from that album, and it features Scott, our drummer, on vocals. That's Cammie's younger brother. Cammie was our lead singer when we first started, and then when Travis joined the group, so did Scott, and started playing drums. And then eventually we got another drummer, and then they would trade places. Scott and Julie Edwards, they would take turns playing drums depending on the song, and we often swapped instruments. And occasionally I would take over for lead vocals. Sometimes Travis would do lead vocals. Well, this is one song that Scott did the lead vocals on, our drummer. And so I remember this is a very simple song, music-wise. Some of our songs are very complex in their music composition. This one is just 3 chords. And so let's go ahead and get into the beginning of it, and you'll see what I mean. Okay, so this is me playing the acoustic guitar for the introduction. Then here comes Scott singing the lead vocal on the first verse.
Somebody tell me where you're coming from. Somebody tell me about God's Son. Somebody tell me, where am I going to? Somebody help me to see the truth.
Then the full band comes in. Okay, so starting off with just the acoustic guitar, me strumming it, and then Scott comes in with his raspy voice. He's got that signature voice, which reminds me a lot of Creed's lead singer, Scott Stapp. And when I reacted to a recent video, a song from Creed, I commented on that about how Scott's voice reminds me of Scott Stapp, and the interesting parallel between both of them being named Scott. But anyway, Scott's singing here, somebody tell me where you're coming from, somebody tell me about God's Son, somebody tell me where I'm going to, somebody help me to see the truth. Now, I remember when we sat down and wrote this song. This is a song that we wrote together. The idea came from a friend of ours named Johnny Parsons, and he was basically a roadie, and this great friend of ours that Travis, the lead singer, and I worked together at a grocery store. And Johnny was also one of our co-workers. And so we became good friends, and he started hanging out with the band. And whenever we would go out to practice on Wednesday nights, he would come out and hang out with us. Well, one night we were just sitting around after practice and tossing around ideas and talking about different stuff and goofing around with our guitars. And Johnny said he just started singing a couple lines. And I think it was one of these first lines of the song. Somebody tell me where you're coming from. Somebody tell me about God's Son. And he maybe even did the whole first verse. Somebody tell me where I'm going to. Somebody help me to see the truth. And we're like, man, that sounds really cool. And he said, well, why don't we sit down and work on it together? So we sat down, worked on it together. And within an hour or so, we had this song written. Very simple chord structure. Johnny had the melody in his head and started singing it. And I grabbed my guitar and started strumming those chords. And that's how the song began. Then, okay, so you got the 3 chords. If you're playing it, if you want to play it yourself on the guitar, it's an E minor, and then a G, and then a D. And then it repeats for the entire song. Where the diversity comes in and the songwriting and the composition isn't from the chord structure, but rather from the intensity of, in the first verse, of course, it starts out acoustic, and then it comes in for the second half of the first verse with full band, and then it builds and builds until finally you've got a full band really rocking out, and then the vocal style changes and adapts throughout the song, starting with the gruff, raspy type voice, but in a lower register. And then when we get to the chorus, you're going to find that Scott really rocks out on it. And so let's go ahead and get into the second half of the verse.
Somebody find me, for I am lost. Somebody help me find the cross. Somebody teach me, the word is my soul. Somebody reach me, I need you, Lord.
See how he's starting to build up a little bit? And there I come in, picking on the acoustic. Da, 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 da. Then he lets it out. Then backward strum. Okay, one of the things I love about this song is just the pure energy in the song, how it starts off low and it builds up. And it's not very complex, as I said, musically as far as the chord structure, but where the complexity comes in is on the way that it's constructed as far as building and backing off and then building up again. But in fact, this first verse of the chorus, I think, might be the first line that Johnny came up with. Where he says, "Somebody help me live in this nation. How can I make it with all this temptation?" And of course, when you think about the lyrics, you think about all the stuff going on in our world today. And really, there's a lot of stuff in this world that is out there to tempt us. And as new Christians, as Johnny was, he was new to his faith, and he was exploring that and realizing that as he's seeking to follow Jesus, he was recognizing that there's still a lot of stuff out of this world that is there to tempt me and to draw me away from Christ. And so that was the genesis of the song, of the concept in his head. And then, I don't know who wrote what lines from that point on, but we all kind of went back and forth. Johnny would say a line, then I would do the line that rhymed with it, and then Travis would throw in a line, and Todd would throw in a line. And so at the end of the day, we had a song that we'd all written together, and we just all shared songwriting credit on it, because none of us, not a single one, could say, okay, I wrote this line, you wrote that line, and divide it up among, you wrote 50% of the song, you wrote 20%, and you wrote 12%, and so on. But this song is about finding hope to stand on the solid ground of Jesus Christ in a world where there's just so much stuff to drag you down under the sinking sand. Okay, so let's go ahead and get back into it. Okay, now on this verse, if you listen carefully, you can hear Scott is doubling up as a vocal. He's singing out the part that you hear clearly, which is "Somebody help me," but then he's also doing a spoken line down underneath of it. "Somebody help me. This life ain't easy," throughout the entire song with the rhythm of the song. And so that's helping to give it depth. And that was one of the ideas of our producer. By the way, I want to give a quick shout out to him. Brian Nutter produced this album for us and came up with all kinds of great ideas. And I'll tell you one toward the end of the song when we get to it, if this is the one I'm thinking of. But Brian Nutter, if you ever get a chance to check out him, he went on after, when we first started recording this song, he was an employee at the studio where we were recording. And we were the first project that they started in the new studio that they built. We were their first customer to start a project. And while we were there recording our project, there were other people that came in and did shorter projects that were done before we finished ours. And so they did several projects. But ours, they spent so much time working on it and perfecting it that our project was also the last project that was finished in their studio before Brian moved to Nashville and struck out on his own. And so he ended up playing guitar on tour with Brooks and Dunn and Keith Urban and all kinds of great country stars, and ended up playing with Keith Urban for years. In fact, if you go and watch some of Keith Urban's videos, his live videos on YouTube, you'll recognize Brian as one of the guitarists on there. And just a quick shout out to Brian. You did a great job producing this album, and I thank you for that. Okay, let's go ahead and get back into it. You hear Travis chugging on the electric. Then I come back in with the strumming on the acoustic, or not strumming, but the picking. Now here you'll hear us come in with some harmony right here. I love it. Then Scott whispering his, somebody tell me where you're coming from. Then it fades out, and that's it. And a lot of these ideas, these productions ideas, some of them came from us. We came up with ideas on how we wanted it structured, and Brian came up with a lot of the vocal ideas, like for that harmony there, and Scott doing the double on that, the spoken part underneath. That was one of Brian's ideas. But one of my favorite parts of the song is that ending. As those of you that are regular viewers know, I'm a huge fan of harmony. I would have preferred that we put harmony throughout the song and the choruses if I'd have had my way, but I'm glad now that we didn't, because saving it for the end allowed for a little bit more on building the song. And so you start off, as I said, with the acoustic, just strumming the one guitar with the gruff vocals, and then you build up gradually as you go, and then by the end of the song, then you add in the harmonies and all the texture of it, and it helps to build and give it structure, whereas normally you wouldn't have that because it is just a simple 3-chord song as far as the chords go. So once again, thank you to Brian for helping produce a great song. This is one of my favorite songs of our band, and I am so glad that we had a chance to record it. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. If you did, hit the like button, comment down below, and tell me, do you want to see me react to some more songs from our band and explain some of the background behind them? And if so, maybe if you have a particular favorite, you can recommend that. But above all, I want you to go to the link in the description and check out the original video on our band's official website, and comment over there, and let the rest of the band know what you think of it. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for being here for our 100th episode. And those of you that have requests in, we do have more requests coming out for the rest of the week. So come on back next time for some more light side reactions. Our music reactions. Okay, now here's the moment you guys have been waiting for. Today, once again, is our 100th episode. So in celebration, I'm going to draw a name out of the hat sometime possibly on this weekend's episode of Muck Club on Sunday afternoon. And if I don't do it then, I will do it on Monday's video. But I'm going to draw a name out of a hat, and the winner is going to get a special prize. And I will send that to the mail once I get your address and confirmation where to mail it to. But here's how you win it. Number one way you can do it is all those who have requested specific songs or artists from episode 1 up until episode 100. If you have requested a song for me to react to, your name is in the drawing. Number 2, if you go back to the episodes that I dropped this past week, there are a couple different episodes where there are hidden magic keywords, secret passwords hidden in the videos. If you comment the correct password, the correct secret phrase in that video, your name will also be in the drawing. So this is your last chance. Go ahead and get those in. today, if you want to, you can comment down below and put in your request, and you will still be in the drawing this weekend for this special prize. And if you are watching this after the prize is already given and the sweepstakes is over for our 100th episode, don't worry. We're going to continue doing this for the next time we hit a milestone. We will do it all again. So keep getting your requests in there for the songs that you want me to react to. So that's how you get into the drawing. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You have to be subscribed, because I'm going to go down through my list of people who are subscribed to the channel to get confirmation on that for you to be in the drawing. So if you're subscribed to the channel and you have either requested a song for me to react to, doesn't matter if I reacted to it or not, as long as you have requested it, within one of those first 100 episodes up until now, by the time I do that drawing, if you have subscribed and put in a request for a song, or subscribed and filled in a comment with a secret password, then you are in the drawing. Thanks for watching, and make sure you're subscribed. Hit the like button, comment down below, and we'll see you the next time. Bye, everybody. God bless.